Today marks 351st day sharing lessons I learn and continue to learn with you. My hope that these insights will inspire you, support your dreams, help achieve your goals, and will empower you to become the person that you want to become. Today I was speaking about victims. Victims in a lot of different sense. Because there is victim blaming, there is victim mentality, there is potentially looking to that we're living in a way of a victim, not a victor. And there's a lot of things that we can consider about victims. And today I really want to focus on five things that I would really want to really have a point. What do we need to do? Because sometimes we can really feel that victims, that we are really in a situation that we got victimized. Sometimes by other people, sometimes by ourselves. But really, what we able to do? What we able to do to really remove ourselves from being a victim to really become a victor? And I think that is a very, very important topic because I think it's very easy to blame. It's very easy to complain. I think you need to learn how to go that high road. And what is a high road? High road is to really making sure that we do the activities that true victor, true person who wants to win does. And I think the first thing that I want to start is from radical self-honesty without any self-shame. Because I think that sometimes when you think about we become victims to our own choices, maybe by other people's, because sometimes we are victims. And I think one of the beautiful things that I learned, and the first time I heard from Will Smith, and he said that it's not your fault that someone did a bad thing for you, but it's your damn responsibility to really deal with that. How you respond to that. So that means even though that you were victim because of what they did, it's not your fault. But a true victory is how you respond to it and what do you do about it. Because sometimes we're able to say that, okay, radical self-honest is like, which parts of what happened I had control over. It might be that when if you look at you, maybe I didn't have any control of it. But most likely that's not how it is. Most likely, like 99% of the time, I think that we always have like 95 and 5. So that means that we have some small influence. For example, like you said, like if a woman is, I mean, a man did some wrong things with a woman, and we said, okay, man is always at fault. That's 100%, so 95%. But be able to ask her, like, did that woman put herself in risk? So there's 1 or 2 or 5% of her own fault. And again, this is potentially could be victim blaming, but like we need to understand that the woman could potentially put herself in a wrong position. That man always will be 95, even 100% fault. That's 100%. But be able to say, like, did we have at least small influence? Did we put ourselves in a risky situation? Did we saw red flags and we didn't pursue that? Did we have intuition or gut feeling that something's going wrong and if we didn't listen? And I think that radical self-honesty without self-shame, because radical self-honesty says that yes, there was something that you did as well. That there was something that you were able to change. There was something that you were able to see, but you didn't want to see. Because sometimes we want to make things work, but you see those red flags, but because you want that to work, we go with that anyway. And I think that without self shame, because I'm saying like, yeah, like I'm such a stupid person that I didn't listen to myself, and I think that is not good because at that moment we need to say like, okay, that was a great lesson, and if it's a great lesson, that means I became better, and now next time if anything similar will happen, I will go a higher road, and I really love that really that victor mentality when you know that if something made you better. If something made me better, even though that was hurtful, but it made you better. This is a win. Because not every single failure is a win. But the failure that you become better became better because of it, that's a win. I think that's again, but the victim and victor is very important. Second thing that I want to really mention regarding the victims, I think that we need to really build agency for ourselves and boundaries. I think that's one of the really strongest things in life regarding self-love is boundaries. Because people not able to really follow your rules if you do not have rules. That means that if person is crossing boundaries, your boundaries, that you didn't communicate, didn't express your boundaries to a person, that means that they might be that they never wanted to cross your boundaries. So again, you might just say that you be a victim in your mind because like why he doesn't respect me, why he doesn't follow my boundary. But did I communicate well? Did he knows my boundaries, my standards, the things that I tolerate and I do not tolerate? Because sometimes when someone crosses the boundaries, it could be not that other person's fault. It might be your own fault. Again, this is it's very important to really understand that boundaries is essential in life to be a victor, to win in life. But again, whose fault is? I think that's very, very important to really build our own agency, but at the same time, we need to be very assertive with our boundaries. And I think that's, again, this is where we really need to learn to say no, trust our intuition, and being able to really have those boundaries that you know yourself that this is exactly what I wanted, this is exactly what I do not want to do in my life. And when you have those boundaries, I think it's much, much easier to really win in life because less of the time you become a victim. Number three, because of, before I go number three, we sometimes become victims by saying yes to too many things. We have become victims of going to pursue someone else's dreams rather than pursuing our own dreams. We could become victims of pleasing other people because I think that's again this is a victim of our insecurities, victim to our own way of thinking. And I think that we need to really become victors in our own lives by really creating those healthy boundaries. Number three is resilience and recovery. And I think this is again a very, very important topic in victims and victors as well, because it might be that you become a victim to yourself, to others, but at that moment, what matters is how fast do you recover? How fast do you recover? And in what way do you recover? Or maybe you don't need to recover because you are so resilient that you never never fell down. Because I think that sometimes we potentially fell down. And that's, again, we're not supposed to shame ourselves if we fell, if we didn't fall, if we fell out of our routines, our patterns, our process, our systems. We didn't pursue our dreams for a month, for a year. It doesn't matter how long. I think that we need to understand that, okay, this was a season of our life. I cannot change what happened, but I can change right now. And from now on, I could really change. Because I love the question is, I always say that one of my favorite questions is, what can I do now? What can I do now? And I think that at that moment, we're able to recover. But at the same time, resilience is again one of my favorite words because I said that resilience needs to be built during tough days and is built automatically, and it needs to be built during good days. So it means every single day we're able to do something that we do not like, do not want, because when you do something that you do not want, you do not like, it builds resilience. That's why I really like cold showers because it builds resilience. So what do you do daily to really build resilience? And I guess the question is, and I think that's again part of being a victor, a person who really wins, is a person who is able to do the things that they do not want to do. And a victim, of course, focuses on regrets, on blames, on shames, those kind of words that really doesn't help at all. Number four, risk awareness without fear. I think that this number four is very, very important. So that means that again, this is a question that how well we manage risks. Because I think that in life, risks are very important. Risk and rewards, it means being able to really understand that risk is required, but calculated risk is important. Victims are taking risks because they think they're important, but they don't look into like what are those risks, and are you willing to take that risk? Because sometimes it's just people take risks without really actually reflecting what is the biggest risk and what is the best case scenario. What is the worst case scenario? What is the best case scenario? So when you look into risk and reward scenario, am I okay with that? Because sometimes like risk and reward is when you look into that ratio is not that good. I really love that what I learned from one of the best leadership strategy coach, is that most people looking for solution for so long and finally find a solution, one solution, and they take it. And this is the most common mistake. And he didn't realize until he explained that most most of the time, first idea is not the best idea. It's a good idea, but not the best idea. Sometimes you really need to make that pile of information, that solution. I really sometimes ask friends, ask mentors, ask coaches, reflect, read a book, and make that good idea into great idea, or make or find another great idea all itself. So that means when you risk awareness as well, understand that maybe I don't need to risk that much. Maybe there's another way that I could achieve exactly the same reward, exactly the same results, but risking less. And that's what true victors does. I think the victim is taking any risk and then is blaming, well, like life is not fair. I took that risk and I thought that we're supposed to do. We're supposed to really reflect on potential risk and ask maybe there is a way to reduce the risk and get the same results. It's not easy. That's why it's very important to have some advisors in your life and work towards that rather than just really reflecting on ourselves. The last one thing that's easy to understand, number 5, and this I think that's very, very important to understand, that we need to have self-compassion and we need to cultivate self-compassion. We need to cultivate self-love. And I really love that what I heard is that you're not able to nurture what you do not like. You're not able to nurture what you do not like, or you don't, or even hate. Sometimes people hate themselves, don't like themselves. When they see in the mirror, and sometimes, including myself, sometimes I used to listen to TV, radio, because we want to hear some noise. We don't want to really hear our own thoughts because we don't like our own thoughts. And when you start to change that, and when you have self-compassion, and you're able to say that, I love my thoughts. I want to hear my thoughts. I want to hear my great ideas. But if we want to have great ideas, we need to reflect who we are. We need to work on ourselves. We need to develop ourselves. And at some point, you start to like yourself. And when you like yourself, when you unconditionally love yourself, at that moment, you want to nurture yourself. You want to develop yourself. And I think this is such an important topic because it's so much easier to really be a victor when you love yourself. And it's so easy to really be a victim when you don't like yourself. Because you find a way how to sabotage yourself. Because you don't believe that you are enough. You don't believe that you deserve it. And I think that is in everything in life, in relation, in wealth, in body, in health, and everything shows up. Because we are overweight, we don't have the best partner, we don't have the best bank account, when we are playing victim mentality. And I think that's, again, the biggest part is just like one of my favorite questions. We need, what do I need to do now to really move from victim to victor? Like I stop blaming myself, but I stop and start nurturing myself. And that's a very true success lies. So I hope that you reflect as well. Maybe there is some parts of your life right now that you're acting like a victim, because again, this is a topic, very big topic, and potentially we can really look into even deeper. And where you would love to really move and say, I want to be a winner. And maybe sometimes it's just really having more compassion toward yourself could potentially allow to get to a new level. So I hope you just win and see you tomorrow.